Cultural considerations in mental health includes cultural understandings of gendered roles and that impact on individuals, among many, many other things. Now I'm reading an article called Taking on the Invisible Third Shift, the Unequal Division of Cognitive Labor and Women's Work Outcomes, which came out in volume 49, issue 2 of Psychology of Women Quarterly. And it is yet another journal, peer-reviewed journal article that is talking about how much more women in heterosexual relationships take on the cognitive load of running a house. Quote, cognitive labor consists of anticipating household needs, identifying options to fulfill these needs, choosing between options, and monitoring whether needs have been successfully met. So this is putting some language around things that a lot of women who are in these positions are already familiar with, but often it's unspoken and invisible, which is kind of the point of this entire article. This really is a full journal article that you can see, and you can see the whole thing. It's open access. That they showed that there's a greater responsibility for cognitive labor for women in partnerships with men, regardless of their parenting status, but that work was most affected by this difference in cognitive labor for women who are married but without children. On the other hand, women who are partnered with men but have children, the biggest impact for them was the responsibility for childcare, that was the main source of emotional exhaustion for mothers, even though mothers are still taking on a greater share of the cognitive labor, but that the childcare seems to be the most impactful part of that differential. I'm going to read you a paragraph here from the discussion. Importantly, we also uncovered emotional exhaustion as a psychological mechanism through which unequal division of labor can negatively impact work-related intentions and attitudes. Namely, our paper explored how the entrenchment and exacerbation of existing labor imbalances between men and women can set back progress towards gender equity. Specifically, our results suggest that taking a disproportionate responsibility for cognitive labor or childcare is emotionally draining, which may have downstream consequences for women's work outcomes. More broadly, it can impact gender equity at work and in our labor force. Without some rebalancing of these heavy second and third shifts, women may be more likely to feel exhausted and attempt to cope by disengaging from paid employment, for example, leaving their organizations, or be less resilient to the changes or obstacles that arise in their work and careers. Does this sound like anybody you know?